Deputy Burton, you have 20 minutes, and Deputy Clune then will bring us up to the SUS.
Thank you, Cathaoirleach. And I do want to recall for this House that Deputy Sean Power was very much one of the people who, when the decriminalisation of homosexuality, as it was then described, was introduced into the Dáil by the then Minister for Justice, Maura Geoghegan Quinn, as part of an agreement for government between Fianna Fáil and the Labour Party, that Deputy Power did indeed speak and support that bill in a situation where it was much more contentious than it is today, being honest about it, and a lot of people felt threatened, while obviously for many people who were gay it was a point of beginning to feel that they were on the long march to being full citizens in their own republic. And you know, we have expressed our disappointment in the Labour Party that the passage of this bill, although its arrival here has been negotiated on foot of a coalition agreement between Fianna Fáil and the Green Party and what were then the Progressive Democrats, it has taken an awful lot of time, and in many ways I suppose it's a bit like, you know, perhaps it's to do with the character of the minister. It's not necessarily a terribly brave bill. It's a kind of a minimalist approach, which would set out, as it were, the minimum recognition that is now widely given right around the European Union to same-sex partnerships. Nonetheless, in the Labour Party, we welcome this bill as a step forward. We don't think that the measure is complete. We have a number of criticisms of it, but nonetheless it is a step forward. And I think it is important as well to remember that in 2010 we begin the decade that celebrates the 100th anniversary of 1916. And, you know, there are busts of all of the signatories to the proclamation up here behind us that when we do a walking vote we see. And I think it's important to remember that as we move towards celebrating a number of very important anniversaries, 100th anniversaries in the formation of the Irish state, in this decade, that, you know, we recall that the people who were involved in the creation of the new Irish state at the beginning of the 20th century were, for the most part, not narrow-minded and not narrowly and harshly judgmental. We don't know very much about the sexual orientation of a lot of them, because a lot of them lived and died young, and we never got to know, you know, as was, if you like, the culture of the time, that much about individuals' sexuality. It was a more confessional and private country than it is now. But I think it is important to bear in mind that this legislation is, for many gay people, while incomplete, it is a stepping stone, to use the language of 100 years ago. And as a stepping stone, we accept it as a progressive move that is welcomed by many people who are gay and people who identify themselves as part of a wider and active gay community, but that it's not necessarily the last step, and that many people in the gay community aspire to have a full expression of their relationships in marriage in the same way as heterosexual couples do. And, you know, I think, again, because the Minister has joined us, and I want to give him courage, you know, that countries that are have as much a Catholic tradition and a Catholic presence as Spain and Portugal have now legalised same-sex marriage. And, you know, the sky hasn't fallen in. I don't think that those countries are in any greater moral dilemma or in any greater state of moral perfection than we ourselves are. They have recognised that for a significant number of people in their countries, this is an issue which requires addressing by their state parliament.